afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Propagandacast Lehr, me, host Imperial Dane. Off here to have a look at the M20 Utility Car. Yeah, indeed, the M20 Utility Car. American light vehicle, armed with a 50 caliber on top, and that's about it. Can be upgraded with armoured skirts, which overall increase the armour, basically making it a bit hard to penetrate for bullets. About it, really. It's not really going to say have much of an effect versus say, an assault gun firing away at it. So, just a little reminder there. It's in a sort of reasonable pricey place. 340 manpower, 20 fuel. More expensive than saying a 222 or 221, that is, or a Soviet Scout car. On the other hand, it does possess a bit more of a potent machine gun compared to them. Plus, of course, the upgrade does make it probably one of the more tougher Scout vehicles overall. Plus, of course, compared to any of those, it also has the benefits of the crew, and it's also a bit more unique compared to any other American vehicle crew, since unlike everybody else who basically just have submachine guns, this little crew carries a bit of a surprise in the form of a bazooka, meaning you can essentially also use it as a bit of a light anti-tank unit, in case, say, you encounter an early scout car or anything like that, and you pop them up and fire the bazooka at them. In fact, some players actually like to do is just what they do essentially is they pop up the crew and then replace it with a re-echelon unit, having then the tank crew then forming up basically as an anti-tank team. Right off the bat there. It has its benefits, but it also has its disadvantages, since the crew is much better at repairing the M20, plus they also have a unique ability which the re-echelon units will not, which is actually fixing criticals right away. So in that regard, it has a few slight disadvantages there. Another thing is they have access to smoke pots, so basically, the same ability as Panzer Tactician. You get into trouble, pop smoke, pull out. So a quite handy ability there as well. Can also be used to form smoke cover in front of other units if you want to. Then you also get access to the M6 anti-tank mine. A very potent anti-tank mine, and I think it's more or less works like the Regal mine, that is, your opponent's vehicle hit it, it goes kaboom, and if it's got treads or wheels, they go off, basically immobilizing the vehicle. At least there's a decent chance of doing it. So that's also something to keep in mind about this vehicle. It's not just there for harassing and acting like a rather powerful scout car, which in fact can tear through infantry squads if you're not careful, but can also be used to lay down some pretty potent mines which can derail any opponent's initial vehicles or armor for that matter. I mean, imagine a Tiger tank running into one of those mines and getting immobilized. That's going to be a very bad day for Heinz right there. So it's something to keep in mind here with the M20's utility car. Beyond that, though, I mean, again, it's just basically a 221 with essentially access to better armor. No auto cannon, but on the other hand, reasonably solid machine gun, which again can tear through your opponent's infantry rather rapidly, combined with other little neat effects. It's a very overall, well, utility car. I mean, it really is what it says on the tin in that regard. It does a lot of things overall. Flexible, can conduct a lot of things, anti-tank, anti-infantry, anti-tank defenses, and all that. Though again, it's not really going to stand out much versus any anti-tank defenses. Anti-tank infantry would also give it a bit of a headache, and certainly versus armor, it's pretty much buggered. But again, well used, I mean, it's going to have some advantages. I mean, versus Grenadiers, of course, you can't really close in with the Panzerfaust about, so versus the Wehrmacht, it might be a bit limited in that regard, but for example, versus Pioneers for machine guns and its support teams, it can do quite a bit of havoc. Versus the Oberkommando West, it certainly is a lot stronger on this, fighting, say, Fallschirmjäger or Panzer Fusiliers with their own small engine-damaging weapons, but overall, again, it can operate a lot more freely in general versus the Oberkommando West. That's not to say it is useless versus the Wehrmacht, just, be a bit more careful around those Wehrmacht Grenadiers, since they can easily put an end to any dreams of vehicular supremacy. Again, don't be afraid to use those anti-tank mines, but just, remember, rules apply like with any other mines. Don't let the enemy see it, because he's definitely not going to be taking it lightly. And you certainly don't want to spoil the surprise when it comes to an M6 anti-tank mine. Generally, you want to have the opponent sort of really experience the full joy of seeing, say, an armor he just rushed for get absolutely disabled right in front of the middle of the bloody road. And again, there we go. One hit from an anti-tank gun, and the M20 is not exactly looking very pleased. Again, not very durable, not very durable. And again, crew here, and again, note, repair critical, which basically allows it to say fix engine damage rather rapidly. Even in the case of a Panzerfaust or mine that doesn't completely wreck the vehicle. So again, a little extra benefit there. And again, bazooka. Only one though, not two, just one bazooka. So again, they won't, for example, be able to sort of rapidly stop a tank. On the other hand, they could just provide the extra punch you need, say, versus an enemy tank. So there you go, the M20 Utility Car, ladies and gentlemen. A nasty little piece of work, well handled. It can certainly disrupt your opponent quite a bit. It can certainly also survive quite a bit compared to most other scout cars. And again, you know, it does have a bit of utility in many ways with the anti-tank mines, smoke pots, and the crew itself with the bazooka. So overall, good use of it can really lead to some good things. Of course, as the opponent, you want to be careful around it, but you also want to take advantage. Again, it can't really handle a lot of shots. I mean, catching in the right spot or panzerfausting it if you can, and then sort of knocking out with something else is really sort of overall going to knock it out. And again, versus vehicles, it performs not very well. So generally, you know, getting a scout car in of your own, or a Puma, or something else in that regard, or a Stug, could sort of be quickly putting that out of the measure. So a little something there to keep in mind. But again, if you do see one, getting a minesweeper might not be an entirely bad idea, though currently a lot of players don't use the mines. Even then, in the case your opponent does use an M20 mine, you know, you don't want to hit it. So this is Imperial Dane saying cheers, hope you learned something, and hope you, of course, you were entertained maybe just a bit. And of course, we'll keep watching. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers, and see you all tomorrow.